A great pleasure now for me to introduce you to our first speaker, a very devoted member of Creative Women family, a personal friend, a lady of many talents. Her name is Farah Shammas. Farah Shammas is the managing director at San Rafael Resort and Marina Hotel in Limassol. And she's also a founder of a group, Cook Vegan. Of course, she's going to tell you more about this herself. Farah is going to touch the subject of the future of travel and tourist industry and how coronavirus has affected us now and potential future trends. It is a great pleasure to pass you now to Farah. I would like to remind you that at the end of each presentation, you will be able to ask our speakers questions. You can type them in the chat, and either the speaker will be picking up questions, or in some cases, maybe myself will be helping to pick up some questions and pass them to the speaker for you to answer. Please do not be shy, ask your questions. So welcome to our webinar, Creative Women webinar, and we welcome Farah Shammas.
Thank you for that introduction, Olga, and a big hello to everyone tuning in. Thank you for being part of this. Creative Women is definitely a platform that is wonderful for wherever you are in the world, and I highly recommend for you all to join this association of fantastic ladies. Do attend the conference that's coming up in June, as Olga mentioned, and hope to see you there. So I'm going to discuss today a little bit about the future of the tourism industry. Now, we are a 5-star resort and marina, a 272-bedroom hotel here in Limassol, Cyprus, and we have a marina as well that is an official port of entry into the island. Obviously, our industry has been affected. I think there isn't an industry in the world that has not been touched by the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, and the tourism industry is perhaps one of the most badly affected industries. We are one of the largest industries in the world, and conservative reports are now stating that travel will be reduced by 1/3. This obviously is extremely worrying. The World Tourism Organization rather, expects the number of international travelers to fall by 1/3 from 1.4 billion travelers to 1 billion, and that is even maybe optimistic. So what are we looking at for the future? What does the future of travel entail? Firstly, we don't know when life will, or travel rather, will begin again as we knew it. Will it ever begin as we knew it? We really don't know. I definitely think it's going to take quite a long time before travel as it was at the beginning of this year and up to this year returns. And I think maybe it won't. Maybe it just won't return to exactly what we were used to. There are going to be a lot of new measures imposed. So airlines, most of them around the world, are not talking about resuming their scheduled flights until around July, and that's tentatively because we don't know. Some governments are telling their citizens to forget travel indefinitely for holiday purposes until at least the end of this year. However, some are more optimistic, and some are talking about, for example, in Europe, having inter-European flights put back on and European countries being able to move between their own. However, so far there isn't a unanimous agreement on how everyone will manage. Each country is deciding for itself if their national airline will continue or restart, how they're going to judge this, and who they're going to let back in the country. So this obviously is going to affect everyone a lot, because if we all need a paper to travel, a certificate of good health, that's fine, but can we get it? Is that cost effective? Can doctors even give it to us? So there's a lot of things to see there. Also, there'll be scanners at airports. Will this cause delays? We don't know the airline industry, if they're going to have social distancing on their flights and for how long, and in which case cheap airfares will definitely be something of the past. It's just not possible for airlines to sustain traveling at up to 50% capacity of what they used to have. So budget airlines, maybe they'll survive, but they won't be able to offer the budget fares that they had, which makes the mass tourism module something that might also be in jeopardy at this point. On the same note, many people are looking at more sustainable travel. Just like everybody is at home now, dreaming of when they can travel again. And I personally believe that after all of this, there is going to be a boom in our industry. So many people will want to get out there, see the world, and many people will be drawn to experiences. If there's something that COVID-19 has taught us, it's that material items and things that the 21st century has been obsessed with actually is irrelevant. People will, I think, stop caring so much in these luxury material items, and they'll be saying, well, I want an experience, I want to see the world, I want to enjoy, I want to spend time with my family, which is wonderful. But on the same time, a lot of people will be looking then about their own footprint. So they'll be looking for airlines who will be conscious of the footprint. I know that Air France has been quite a leader in looking at ways to reduce their fuel. And there's even talk of airlines slowly having used oil and going into hybrid planes. So this obviously is a way in the future, but it's there's a demand for that. People are looking for eco hotels, sustainable hotels, and people will want real experiences. Yes, there will always be the sun and sea and sand seekers, but I think people will want to genuinely experience cultures and countries. So that's something that will also make a difference. In the nearer future, we're going to see a lot of people who will want to get out of their house, who will be desperate after lockdown to move around, but who just won't have the financial means. Many people have been on unemployment benefits or making less money as an employee. Definitely employers have not been making the money they're used to. A lot of companies are not going to survive this in our industry and also out. So actual travelers are going to have less money to spend. So what will that mean? Well, a lot of them will not be able to afford even getting onto a plane, or and many people will be afraid of airports and aeroplanes until we know more about this disease. So people will choose to travel in their home country or somewhere that they can drive to or get a train to. Even public transport, there's a big discussion now about how that is going to work. How will trains work in the future? How will buses work? How will coaches work? Social distancing, cleaning of them. So that as well, there's going to be a rise in individual transportation, which means commutes by car. So people will like to go somewhere and have a holiday or a short break that they can drive to. So we're going to see a rise for sure in domestic tourism, and definitely until there's more news on both a vaccine and a cure. And even when coronavirus is over, people are not going to forget this overnight. People are going to always be conscious. I think it's going to set a new way of life, just like after the Spanish flu, or after maybe something that's a bit closer to our lifetime, the Second World War. You know, that finished, and after rations and everything else, people didn't waste food. My grandparents didn't waste food. My parents didn't waste food. And the same thing will happen now. People are going to be more cautious. We're going to wash our hands more often. We're going to always have that hand sanitizer with us. So the same thing, people will be looking at that. We then go into more my industry, hotels, and we're going to see a big change in how hotels operate. Are we going to continue having buffets? We don't know. I'd love to tell you, yes, we will, or no, we won't, or this is how we're going to operate. But we're really waiting to see the research that comes out of all of this and what guidelines we're given internationally and domestically by our own government. So we're going to have to really judge that to see. I mean, for sure, the food will have to be changed more often. These guards might have to become this long, but will we even be allowed to have buffets? If we cannot, how are we going to feed 1,000 people at a time when the hotels are full? So there's a lot of things to be seen there. Big hotel chains have already started to announce, like Hilton, for example, and many others, some of the initiatives that they're taking in conjunction with hospitals like Mayo Clinic and everything else, to see how new measures will be implemented, the cleaning of rooms with hospital-grade disinfectants. But this obviously is going to take more time, and time is money. So until now, for example, at our hotel, we have a checkout at 12 o'clock noon and check-in at 2. 2 hours, even when we're full, has been enough to generally change over the rooms. In the future, I don't think that's going to be enough. We're going to have see checkout earlier. That's obviously going to affect people's travel and when their planes are scheduled for, or what are they going to do if they have to check out of the room at 9 or 10 in the morning. What are they going to do until their plane that might be at 6 o'clock? We're going to have to see check-ins later to give us longer to properly disinfect all rooms, to see how the cleanliness or cleaning will take place. It's expected that there'll be a rise in the demand of room service, for example, as more guests will want to dine in a room with their family. People will be more cautious of eating in restaurants, even with social distancing. So we're expecting a rise in that. Hotels will have to then judge how we're going to do that. How many staff do we have? Will we be able to have the extensive menu we have now if there's a big demand? Will we have to simplify it? So a lot of things to be seen. Also check-in, you know, there's going to be a demand for contactless check-in. How are we going to do that? Will people check in before they arrive? Are they going to arrive and use a tablet? How will the tablets be cleaned? Will there be glass partitions at reception desks? The last few years have seen a more personal side and a demand for that within hotels. So people want to come. Receptions have changed from these huge benches of the 80s and 90s to smaller benches, to individual desks with people, the handshake, welcome. Maybe we're going to go to the more Asian module of namaste and a bow to welcome people. It might affect our culture completely. In this part of the world, we love kissing, so it's one more to everyone. You know, this is not going to be able to happen in the foreseeable future. So there's a lot of things that will be changed there. For the moment, we have guidelines, definitely in Cyprus, they're announced yesterday, where all employees will have to wear masks when dealing with people. Again, can we use fabric masks, or will we have to use disposable? It kind of takes away the, you know, the personal side of the people industry that we're in, but it is necessary, so we will do it for as long as we need. So that a lot of things to be seen there. Many hotels are also talking about removing all paper in the rooms and putting more tablets in. So no more pen and paper, maybe no more magazines, everything to try and increase the safety. Obviously, we have to take care of our staff, but what will the staff be dressed at? Well, we need more staff to implement these measures. And that, as I said earlier, time is money. So with all the new measures, will we be able to afford to operate and keep these prices that we have? Many of the tour operators are already asking us, you know, can you give us a special offer? We need to come back with attractive prices. And while we want to give that, and we want to get as many people as we can to start traveling again, can we afford it? We're going to have to spend more on our cleaning products, on our staff, on different measures. So there's a lot to be seen there. Conferences, we all rely heavily on conferences. conferences, incentives, meetings, groups. We've all, life as we know it has changed. I mean, we're on this amazing webinar right now that's a conference. Before, Olga would have had to have done this and wanted to in person. We would have all been in a room together. However, how fantastic is this? I'm in Cyprus, you guys are in London and in Russia and the Middle East and wherever everyone is, and we're connected. And this lockdown has really taught us that actually we've got this amazing technology, Zoom and a million other applications, that we can still have this and it's obtainable. So I think a lot of businesses after this will say, well, actually, I can do my meeting online. I can save on airfares. I can save on our footprint. I can save on time. And they won't do this for all their meetings, but a lot of meetings are going to continue to be done online. That's going to affect air travel and hotels and ultimately the tourist product, because there might be a big decline in conferences in the short run and maybe long run. Also weddings, christenings, which is part of the tourist product. So we deal a lot with that. We have many weddings from abroad. From our side, all of them of this year have been cancelled. Even our local weddings in Cyprus, we're used to very big weddings. You know, we can have weddings of dinners of 300-400 people easily, and cocktails of 1,000-2,000 people. With social distancing at the moment, that definitely is not allowed. So when will these weddings happen? Will they happen? Will they have to be smaller? Will they have to be outside? So this also is a lot of things to be seen. As I mentioned earlier as well, people with less money to spend will be supporting domestic hotels, domestic products, which is great. But internationally, that's going to obviously make a shift in our industry. The risk management standards are going to be very much changed. The cruise industry has already been hit. And while I've seen some reports of people saying that they think it's going to bounce back quite quickly, personally, I think it's going to take a little bit of time for people to trust being in enclosed spaces. So there's so many different aspects of our industry that are definitely going to be hit and affected, not just now in the short term, but in the longer term as well. With some reports saying that maybe it won't be until 2025 that we get back to the type of figures that we're talking about. We really have to see the summary of everything I've said quite quickly, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, is simply that we don't know. Many tourist companies, many travel and tourism tour operators, agencies, airlines, hotels, restaurants, bars are simply not going to make it. They're not going to be able to pull through and sustain themselves after this crisis. However, many are. It's come at a very difficult time for the industry because it's come literally at the beginning of our season. So a lot of companies have already done their capex. They've already spent on their renovations. They've already used all their reserves over winter, and they were ready just to start, getting their cash flows coming in, their positive cash flows, and have that revenue coming in. And then we were hit with this closure. So it's been very, very difficult for a lot of people. However, we have to stay positive. Our first and foremost thing that we have to think about is all the employees that we employ globally in this fantastic industry that we're in. Keep them safe, and our guests, keep our guests safe. So that's what we've been saying: stay home, stay safe. We're going to be here when this is all over. So we have to just be positive, keep smiling. I keep telling all our staff that while we can come up with every different scenario of not just plan A and B all the way to X, Y, and Z, and keep saying, yes, we'll do this and do this, really, we don't know. We are very much reliant on the government's help and assistance, which for us in Cyprus, they've been fantastic. We need their guidelines. We need to see what they advise us to do and really go along with that. And we're definitely going to see a lot of changes this year and next year. But personally, I'm very positive. I believe there will be a big boom when this is all over. And we will see changes, but changes for the good. And everybody watch this space and keep traveling. Please support your favorite restaurants, bars, hotels, airlines. Get on TripAdvisor. Write about your last experience, even if that was 6 months, 1 year ago. Keep it coming in. Post on social media where you want to go, what you want to do. So just keep that support and that positivity coming out there. And here's to a better, brighter future. So we'll see you all soon. I'm going to answer some of the questions.
Thank you so much, Farah. We are getting lots of compliments for your passionate and very, very practical presentation.
Thank you, dear. I haven't read any of the comments. Yeah.
There are a few questions coming. If you want, I can assist you or you can pick up. But I really, really would love, before we'll move to these questions, I personally would like to ask you a question about, as we said, in this lockdown and this difficult period, many of us somehow found time to develop our hobbies and our passions and take them on the next level. And you are a fantastic example of doing that, an amazing example, because what you've done with your Cook Vegan platform is truly amazing. I would like you to say just very, very briefly a few words about what you've done. And of course, our next wonderful speaker, Jules, is a food expert, and she's going to talk much deeper on the subject. But if you could just explain what really
you're so sweet. Thank you, Olga. You had asked me to say, and I got carried away with my other hat of the tourism industry. So I'm vegan, and I'm passionate about healthy living and lifestyle. And during this lockdown, when I've been obviously very busy dealing with everything for the hotel and the marina from home, and my 3 children, I've also had a little bit of time, or not a little bit of time, I've created the time to develop a new platform called Cook Vegan. If you are on Facebook, everyone, please follow us. It's a group. You have to be a member to be part of this, free of charge. So if you just type in groups/Cook Vegan, you can join it. And it's for vegan and non-vegans alike. Actually, a lot of people joining are not vegan, and that's what I want. I want a lot of regular omnivores to come on board and just see lots of different plant-based recipes and ideas. And the reason why I started this platform is because as a plant-based mum, I constantly get asked, oh, what do you cook every day? Do your kids eat that? What do they like eating? Blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, well, I'll develop this platform just to show people what I make every day, what works, some interesting recipes. You don't have to be the best chef in the world to be able to make some nutritious, healthy meals for your family. And we also have the first hotel vegan restaurant in Cyprus, Seychelles, that has done really well. Cyprus is traditionally a meat-eating country, and people told me I'm crazy. Why am I making that? And when I did it, actually we tripled in revenue in the first year. So that was great. And yeah, it's a passion of mine, and I'd love to have more people on board. So Facebook group Cook Vegan. We've also got an Instagram account called Cook Vegan FB, so you can follow us there as well. That's more pictures than we post on the Facebook group. So that's that.
Thank you so much. Can you see more questions coming from our audience?
Yeah, I will just go back and start looking at them. Sorry, I'm like now.
Absolutely. Well, the first one was for our dear member of Creative Women, Dr. Kuljetu Pal. And she's asking, as a business owner, how do you plan to deal with a huge hit on the hotel segment? Do you believe it is the time to be creative in your strategies ahead?
Well, it's always a time to be creative. We're women, we have to be creative. But there's never been more of a time to be creative. We have to be creative in how we remind people that we're here, how we reassure people that we're doing their best. We don't hold a magic wand in this scenario, but we will definitely have to be creative in how we can think of our staff and our guests' health, their well-being in all of this. And yeah, coronavirus is a very good reminder of how fragile we are and how powerful the world and nature is. I mean, you know, Earth is getting on with it. Spring is here, summer's coming. The world is healing, and we're stuck in our cages right now, and that's a big reminder to us that we have to respect nature more. And I'm a strong believer in that. I've been trying to have a more sustainable model in our hotel, and this has helped me really to expedite that right now. So I have a lot of plans on how we're going to do that in our hotel. From what we offer in our food. We're not a vegan hotel, but we have a lot of plant-based options. How we clean, how we welcome our guests, how we'll manage the kids club, for example, what we'll do for entertainment. Maybe if we have nice weather here, we'll move more things to being outside. We might have more restaurants open to accommodate the people at the distances we need. So we have lots of things in the pipeline and we're looking at. But as I said, of course, we're waiting for more government and health, the health minister and health organizations' directives of the best way to do this.
Thank you very much. I will move to the next question, and maybe we could make answers shorter because there are quite coming. Yes, the next comment and question from our dearest Viola Edward, clear and humble sharing. Dear Farah, what is your advice for colleagues in the tourism industry? To your colleagues in the tourism industry.
Stay positive, everyone. Stay positive. Better days are coming, and we're going to get there. So just smile. Take this time to be creative. Stay home. Stay safe. Listen to what your bosses say and the government says, and we'll all be back at work soon.
Thank you very much. Jules Francis is asking, a really interesting. Farah, curious to see what family holidays will become.
So family holidays, I think as well, are going to be super popular because people will realize that they've spent so much time with their families now that when work starts again as normal, I think a lot of people will remain working from home and a lot of businesses will keep that. But I think, and people will get used to it. People will want to spend time with their children and their family. So I think family holidays will be very, very important. Maybe people will even do more, longer family holidays. So they'll be looking for clean and safe environments to take their children.
Wonderful, thank you very much. The next question from Amani Vernescu. Other than social distancing and cleanliness measures, what sort of staff training seminars would hotel consider as a priority?
I think information is king in this. So really, we will have to train all our staff to know not just about COVID-19, but about any bacteria, any risk of any viruses, so that they know how to handle things, why, and how to advise guests.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
A few more. Another one from Amani. Do you believe the level of unemployment will be increased in the hospitality industry?
In the short term, I think it will. Don't worry, St. Raphael, anyone watching this, not from our side. But I think, yes, I think some businesses just won't make it, especially smaller businesses, smaller restaurants, and there'll be airlines as well. I think BA has already started actually implementing 36,000 jobs and being cut, and many other airlines, hotels, industries. So yes, there is going to be more unemployment in the short term, but in the long run, I think we'll actually see a rise in employment in the tourism industry because there will be a boom at some point. I don't know when. I don't know if it will be as early as next year or the year after, but there is going to be a boom in this, and then we're going to need a lot of employees, and people will come back to work.
As we say, we have to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about the virus that you think we are not going to start normal life next year? Or possibly a more generic question.
So what do I,
what do you know about the virus? What do you think will delay coming back to the normal life next year?
I know as much as you guys. We're all reliant on the vaccine and the cure. On a personal level, I hope this is brought home to a lot of people who have been anti-vaxxers that actually how important vaccines are, because a lot of things that we vaccinate our kids against are things so far removed, and everyone else is not getting them because they're vaccinated. So people think, oh, we're fine, and no, we're not, guys. We need vaccines. So I think this is quite a big reminder of that. And I don't know any more than you guys. I read the same reports, the same papers. I'm hoping that as early as next year at some point, you know, everything will be able to continue again, but who knows? We've got to watch this space.
We'll be back to normal. Do you?
And a better normal. I always say
better
that.
normal, of course.
Not the normal we had. We've got to come back better and wiser.
Do you expect that air tickets will change prices? This is from Dr. Mal.
Sorry, do I expect? I'm not reading this.
Do you expect that prices for air tickets will change?
I do, yes, I am. I do expect that. I believe the mass tourism model will still exist. It has to exist, but I believe it will, because even without social distancing on airlines being implemented, even if they're allowed to get back to traveling with the normal seat capacity, there will still be increased costs for airlines, such as a new insurance cover, new cleanliness, new staff training, and new regulations, new packaging for food, so that there'll be just higher costs involved. So that will translate at the end of the day onto the actual airfares.
Thank you very much. And I think we're going to do just one more, and we're going to finish your presentation. Are you keeping your staff, and what if it does go on longer? I think it's quite a challenging question and quite a personal one.
So at the moment, we've kept all our staff. We haven't let anyone go. Our government in Cyprus has been very, very helpful and proactive on this. I think we've even written about in the New York Times how well our president has handled this. And I feel very blessed to be in Cyprus, in a country that has done so well. We have an initiative in place where we can keep all our staff, and everyone has gone on unemployment benefits with the government. And we had to keep 10% employed by us, which have mainly been our management and staff that we need. So far we have everyone still employed, and we're looking forward to reopening. We're hoping this summer in whatever capacity we can.
Thank you very, very much, dear Farah, for your presentation, for answering all these questions. There've been a few more, but I think we unfortunately have to move on. Thank you for keeping positive, for developing such wonderful and useful habits.
Thank you for inviting me and having me. And I wish everyone all the best to stay home, stay safe, and stay positive.
Thank you so much. And we are going to see you very, very soon, of course.
And we're waiting for you at St. Raphael Resort and on Cook Vegan. Basically.
Of course, my favorite hotel, San Rafael. Thank you so much again, Farah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye from me.
Thank you. I welcome